各位记者朋友，大家下午好。
Good afternoon. Welcome to the regular press conference. An announcement of the top. At the invitation of Premier of the State Council Li Qiang, Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez will visit China from April 10th to 11th. Now the floor is open to questions.
谢发言人，总台国广记者提问。发言人刚刚发布了西班牙首相桑。
CRI, on your announcement about Spanish Prime Minister's visit to China, could you share the arrangements? We noted that this will be the Prime Minister's second visit to China in less than a year. How do you comment on that? This visit marks Prime Minister Sanchez's third trip to China within 3 years. During the visit, President Xi Jinping will meet with him and Premier Li Qiang will hold talks with him. Spain is an important cooperative partner for China within the EU. The two sides have always adhered to the principles of mutual respect, mutual trust, and mutual benefit. Our bilateral relations are at the forefront of China's ties with European countries. This year marks the 20th anniversary of the China-Spain Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. China hopes to take this visit as an opportunity to deepen strategic mutual trust between the two sides, expand open cooperation, jointly address global challenges, and achieve new progress for the China-Spain Comprehensive Strategic Partnership from a new starting point. Next question, please.
Question for Anadolu Agency.
阿纳多罗。美国总统特朗普又进一步威胁，如果中国不取消对美报复性关税，美将继续加征50%关税。中方对此有何评论？
The U.S. abuse of tariffs seriously infringes upon the legitimate rights and interests of countries, violates WTO rules, hurts the rules-based multilateral trading system, and destabilize global economic order. It is a typical move of unilateralism, protectionism, and economic bullying. It is rejected by the whole international community. China strongly deplores and firmly opposes this. Let me stress once again that trade wars and tariff wars have no winners, and protectionism has no way out. The Chinese people never create trouble, neither do we fear trouble. Pressuring, threatening, or extorting China is not the right way to engage with us. China will do what is necessary to firmly safeguard our legitimate and lawful rights and interests. If the U.S. insists on waging the tariffs war and trade war regardless of the interests of both countries and the international community, China will play along to the end. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。中新社记者提问：近日有智库发文称，中国
China News Service, according to an analysis of think tank, China and ASEAN have become new hubs for influence in East Asia, and the ties between both sides are based on complementary needs, frequent ties, and shared values. These ties are of great significance to Asia and beyond. They also think that the cooperation between China and ASEAN has become a good example for the relationship between China and its neighboring countries. What's your comment? Since China and ASEAN became each other's dialogue partners 30 years ago, our cooperation has been steadfast, steady, and robust, becoming one of the most vibrant and fruitful cooperation in Asia-Pacific and beyond. China and ASEAN have been each other's top trading partners in 5 consecutive years, and last year our trade totaled 6.9 trillion RMB. And the upgrading of FTA protocol is set to be signed within this year. Landmark projects including China-Laos Railway and Vietnam's Hanoi Metro line deliver tangibly for people in local areas. And there have been some emerging industries in our cooperation, including the digital empowerment and the green development. The China-ASEAN relations are a vivid illustration of China's commitment to the principle of amity, sincerity, mutual benefit, and inclusiveness in neighborhood diplomacy and a good neighborly and friendly policy. The political mutual trust and convergence of interest between China and its neighbors continue to deepen. We reached common understandings with 17 neighboring countries on the building of a community with a shared future, signed agreement on BRI cooperation with 25 neighboring countries, and become top trade partners for 18 countries in neighborhood. Solid progress has been made in major landmark projects and regional cooperation mechanisms, including East Asian Cooperation, Lancang Mekong Cooperation, China Central Asia Cooperation, and SCO, have boosted regional economic integration. We believe that harmony is key to prosperous family in all endeavors. As a member of Asian family, we will continue to treat our neighbors with friendliness and sincerity, and pursue openness and inclusiveness, be rooted in and contribute to our neighborhood, and ensure more Asian people will benefit from the principle of amity, sincerity, mutual benefit, and inclusiveness, and inject more stability for the world and bring more hopes for the Asian community with a shared future. 法新社的提问。中国对特朗普威胁50%关税作出回应，称将采取措施坚决维护利益。那么，你能否进一步介绍中方将采取什么措施？
权利。
The Chinese people's legitimate right to development should not be deprived of, and China's sovereignty, security, and development interests should not be violated. We will continue to take firm and effective measures to safeguard our legitimate rights and interests. Next question, please.
Thank you. Bloomberg News. This afternoon, we saw several influential Chinese bloggers.
今天下午，我们看到一些具有影响力的中国博主都发文称，中方将进一步采取反制措施。那这些是否意味着中国政府将进一步采取什么行动？
一般不对网络性的言论。
As you may know, we usually do not comment on the comments by internet users. On the tariffs, I have made our position clear. We will take firm and effective measures to safeguard our legitimate rights and interests.
Thank you. Another one from AFP. The US and Iran have announced talks over the nature of Iran's nuclear program.
美国称将与伊朗 Could you repeat the question, please? 美国和伊朗宣布将就伊朗的核项目进行谈判，中方对此有何回应？
我们注意到了有关报道。
We noted the report. China always believes that the only right choice to settle the Iranian nuclear issue is through political and diplomatic channel. Under the current situation, parties of the Iranian nuclear issue should head towards the same direction, enhance dialogue and communication, and avoid escalation. As the country that unilaterally withdrew from the JCPOA and led to the current situation, the U.S. should show political sincerity, uphold the spirit of mutual respect, engage in dialogue and consultation, communication and stop the wrongdoing of threatening and exerting maximum pressure. China will continue to maintain communication with relevant parties, promote peace talks, and work for a diplomatic settlement that accommodates parties' legitimate concerns so as to uphold the non-proliferation regime and keep the Middle East peaceful and stable. Next question, please.
With all of the threats and counter threats on tariffs.
From which news agency?
With NBC.
NBC. 那么，中美双方都宣布了关税措施和反制措施。那么，你能否介绍双方之间是否在任何层级上都有进行沟通和对话呢？
我想美方的所作所为
I think what the U.S. has done does not reflect its willingness to engage in sincere dialogue. If the U.S. really wants to engage in talks, it should show an attitude of equality, respect, and mutual benefit. If the U.S. decides not to care about the interests of the U.S. itself, China, and the rest of the world, and is determined to fight a tariff and trade war, China will respond till the end. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人。北京日报记者提问：据报道，近日美国国务院拉美问题特使卡罗内接受采访时称，中国同样。
It's reported that U.S. State Department's Special Envoy for Latin America said in an interview that China uses its currency swap with Argentina to extort the country, and the U.S. wants Argentina to end it. He said the U.S. wants to be sure that Argentina's potential agreements with the IMF do not end up prolonging that credit line or swap that they have with China or strengthen China's position with that credit line. What's your comment? China has all along conducted practical cooperation with Argentina in various fields on the basis of equality and mutual benefit. Argentina's currency swap with China has played an important role in stabilizing its economy and finance, which is welcomed and well received in Argentina. Let me stress that China's bilateral cooperation never targets any third party, nor should it be disrupted by any third party. People are able to tell who is extorting and coercing others and making trouble. We call on the U.S. to right its mindset and make more tangible contributions to the development of Latin American and Caribbean countries, rather than waste time sowing discord. Next question, please.
谢谢发言人，他是伊朗外交部发言人表示了。
Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said that China, Russia, and Iran will have trilateral talks on Iranian nuclear issue on April 7 and 8 in Moscow. Do you have any comment on this?
中方
Let me reiterate that China firmly believes that the settlement of the Iranian nuclear issue through the political and diplomatic means is the only right choice. We support Russia hosting the trilateral expert-level meeting, which will further promote the political and diplomatic settlement of the Iranian nuclear issue. China will continue to have communication and coordination with relevant parties and facilitate the settlement to the Iranian nuclear issue that accommodates all parties' legitimate concerns so as to uphold the international non-proliferation regime and keep the Middle East peaceful and stable. Next one, please.
谢谢。深圳卫视执新闻。
Shenzhen TV, speaking in an interview on Trump administration's trade policy on China, Vice President J.D. Vance said, the U.S. borrows money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture. What's China's comment? China has made its position perfectly clear on its trade relations with the U.S. To hear words that lack knowledge and respect like those uttered by this vice president is both surprising and kind of lamentable. Next question, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Any more questions? Then that's the end of today's press conference. Thank you for coming.